I had met him while I was caressing Poe. From the flatlands to the rough and rugged mountains, it takes time to adjust. I really miss the warm mornings and the busy streets of Kolkata. Every day, the city seems to be reborn with new vim and zest. These mountains are extremely calm and quiet. After dusk, there's hardly a handful of people on the streets. The morning was chilly. By the noon, the temperature was moderate. After having my lunch in Rangoon Inn, I went to wash my hands in the backyard, where I found Poe. As white as snow. Her nose was just like a tender rosebud. She stood there blinking her large dreamy eyes. Mountainous creatures are really amiable. Without any hesitation, she sat beside me. As I fed her lush green grasses, she came closer and found comfort on my lap. As I stroked her fleece gently, she fell asleep. After a while, I could hear a strange tune. Poe sprang up and was now trying to stand on my lap, but the fabric of my dress was not allowing. I helped her out. She then started walking down the slope. I followed her. She was traveling back to her flock while the strange tune was still on. There was a lonely hut nearby, the chimney of which seemed to emit a rainbow. The sight was beautiful to look at. A lonely hut at the edge of the mountain, decorated by the nature. "Time to leave," called out my driver. Before leaving, I gently lifted Poe. As I was caressing her, I found a muscular, mongoloid-featured young man standing just a few inches away from me. Even he had snow-white complexion and rosy lips. I smiled at him. He smiled back. I kept smiling. He did the same. I extended my hand forward. He did too, and clasped my hand firm. We shook. I handed over Poe to him and left, waving goodbye. He nodded and kept smiling. Yamthang Valley. Beautiful, splendid, mesmerizing, and every other good adjective would fall short to describe its beauty. Rangoon Inn was 2 miles away. Nevertheless, I asked my driver to take me there, where I met Poe and her master again. This time, I had a brief chat with him. He was an orphan from Tibet, earning all by himself, and contributed half of his income for the betterment of a Tibetan orphanage. Impressive indeed. That noon, lunch was required no more. I was too full with the incredulous positivity that Poe's master had fed me with. I had halted at Yangthang for 13 days, I remember. We had met each other on all the 12 days, and I kept learning how hardworking, honest, calm and composed he was from within. I felt just like a sunbather under the sun. Every instant of those 12 days was worth cherishing. I would long to meet him every day. On the 13th day, something unusual happened. I forgot to pray, spilled coffee on my bed sheet, and was bitten by a dog, and so on. Still, I went to meet him. By then, we had really become good friends. He did not show up. I had waited about half an hour more than the usual time. Still, there was no sign of him. Suddenly, I heard a faint tinkling of a bell. I turned around. It was Poe. She had a piece of paper in her mouth. I took it up and found it to be a letter written in English, which read, I was in class 10 when my fate took a turn. I was good in English and wanted to be a professor, but God had some other plans for me. You are rich and beautiful. We belong to different classes of the society, and the Gorkha leader of this area had threatened to kill me. He wanted me to bring you to him. I was not sure of his exact intentions, but was sure they were evil, so I turned him down. If you find this letter, please run away from that area. Take Poe with you. I did manage to escape. But till date, I have visited Yangtham 17 times. Never heard of or seen him. I wonder if he is still alive. He had noted down my birthday as he wanted to present me something. But even before my birthday, he had already presented me with a noble gift of his strong friendship. Maybe at the cost of his own life. I was so spellbound by his words that I never really asked his name. I had met him while I was caressing Poe.